Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. I apologize that I am late on recording this reaction video to the verdict on Friday night. It has been a very busy month alone, and this weekend definitely has been very busy. I had a little bit of a fibromyalgia flare-up as well. So I'm trying to keep myself from overdoing it. But anyhow, I was very excited. I was actually in bed on Friday night since I had to run in the morning. I'm training for another half marathon. For those who don't know, I do run. And so, of course, I was paying attention, keeping on the alerts for the verdict. I was on verdict watch. So as soon as I heard the verdict was in, I'm in bed, putting on the stream, and I'll tell you what, it may have been quiet in the house, but you could hear me probably down the street going woo-hoo. So it was definitely a very good ending to this trial and to this case, although it's not really over. We have sentencing coming up on December 2nd, and as we know, I'm sure Sarah is going to appeal. Although Owens will not be representing her in that, he will be working with her on the sentencing portion on December 2nd. So let me play the verdict, so that way, just in case you haven't seen it, although I'm sure you have, let me play that for you right now.
State, are we ready to bring in our jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, are we ready to bring in our jury?
Yes, Judge.
All right, let's go ahead and bring in our jury. Everyone will remain seated.
You enter.
State, do you recognize our jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, do you recognize our jury?
Yes, sir.
All right, members of the jury, you may be seated. Thank you. Members of our jury, good evening. I understand that you've come to a verdict in this case.
Yes.
If you could please hand the verdict form to the deputy, please. Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, if you could please publish the verdict.
In the Circuit Court of the Ninth Judicial Circuit in Orange County, Florida, case number 2020 CF 2603, the state of Florida versus Sarah Boone. Verdict. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of murder in the second degree as charged in the information. So say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 25th day of October 2024. The form has been signed by the foreperson.
Madam Clerk, please poll our jury.
Juror seat number 1, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, it is.
Juror seat number 2, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, it is.
Juror seat number 3, is this your true and
Yes, it
correct
is.
verdict? Juror seat number 4, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror seat number 5, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror seat number 6, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Members of our jury, again, I want to thank you for your time, your sacrifice, and your attention in this matter. I know that we spent almost 2 weeks together, and it was not taken lightly, and I really appreciate the time and the effort and the sacrifice that you put into this case. I want to advise you now of your final instruction. Members, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you for your time and your consideration in this case. I also wish to advise you of some very special privileges enjoyed by jurors. No juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that occurred in the jury room except by court order. For many centuries, our society has relied upon juries for consideration of difficult cases. We have recognized for hundreds of years that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair as long as they wish it. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to speak about the jury's work. Although you are at liberty to speak to anyone about your deliberations, you are also at liberty to refuse to speak to anyone. A request to discuss either your verdict or your deliberations may come from those who are simply curious, from those who might seek to find fault with you, from the media, from the attorneys, or elsewhere. It will be up to you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. With that, members of the jury, again, I thank you for your service. I'm going to ask you return to the deliberation room. I'll be back there shortly with your jury certificates, and thank you.
Go ahead.
The one thing I'm disappointed in is that we don't have a very good angle on Sarah's face. I would have loved to see the look on her face when they said guilty. And juror number 3, he just sounds awesome. He's like, yes. So, again, I'm so happy that there's justice for George and that this jury, they got it right. They did an excellent job.
Ms. Boone, the jury has spoken in this matter and has found you guilty of murder in the second degree. The court adjudicates you guilty of murder in the second degree. As this is your first felony conviction, you are entitled to a pre-sentencing investigation by the Department of Corrections. Mr. Owens, are you seeking that in this case?
Yes.
Okay. State, I will order the Department of Corrections to prepare the pre-sentencing investigation. State, for the purposes of sentencing, do you anticipate eliciting any testimony from, be it the victim's family?
2 or 3 victim impact statements, sir.
Okay. Mr. Owens, do you plan on presenting any evidence during the course of the sentencing hearing, sir?
Probably some testimony from Dr. Harper.
Okay. All right. How long do you think, State, that you would need?
You mean timing-wise, or are we thinking?
A quantum of time, sir. Yeah, well, normally it takes about 30 days or so. I'm confirming with Anita as to availability. I just want to know from your side of the ledger, how much time? Okay, 15 minutes. How much time do you think you're going to need to produce anything from your side of the ledger, sir? Mr. Owens.
I'd say 30 minutes.
Okay.
30 to 45.
So if we set this for an hour, that would be sufficient.
Party agreed.
Okay.
State agrees.
Is that sufficient, Mr. Owens?
Yes.
Okay, all right, give me a moment. Ms. Barrios is checking. Just give us a moment. We can set this matter for 1:30 in the afternoon for sentencing on December 2. State, is that acceptable? It's a Monday.
I just status hearing, but I'll make it work.
I can move it to later if necessary.
I'm co-counsel on it. I can make it work.
Okay. Defense.
You know,
Yes, sir.
Monday, December 2 at 1:30.
Yes, sir.
I can be here.
Ma'am, you've been adjudicated guilty. I now remand you into the custody of the Orange County Jail pending sentencing on December 2 at 1:30. State, anything else we need to address?
Not from the state.
Defense. All right. Thank you very much. We're off the record.
Again, thanks to the jury for an excellent job. I believe the state also did an excellent job. I know some folks were they weren't so necessarily happy with Mr. J when he cross-examined Sarah, but I think his rebuttal and their closings really put the nail in her coffin for sure. Now, I will be doing a video on some of George's family. They have started to speak out, so I want to cover that this week coming up. Beyond that, let me know if there's anything that you guys would like me to cover as we kind of wrap things up between now and the December 2nd sentencing, that particular hearing, which hopefully, fingers crossed, toes crossed, and all that stuff, I can actually make it out to. Hopefully there'll be no issues with that. But also, I wanted to thank all of you for continuing to support the channel and being here for the coverage of this case and for being supportive of, George. I know a lot of you guys supported George in this as well. And, yeah, so this was definitely a long time coming. Justice for Jorge Torres. All right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.